Do you know what financial FUD is and how it can just devastate you? Be sure to watch today's video as we'll be digging into this very sensitive topic and more importantly, how you can protect yourself. Hey, Frank Thomas here from Wealth Generation Strategies, and today we're going to be talking about something called FUD, and unfortunately it's not Elmer FUD. It's a different type of FUD, and specifically financial FUD, because I see a lot of it. So let's get started here. What is financial FUD? To start, FUD is an acronym for the expression fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Financial FUD is any news that we find that creates fear, uncertainty, and or doubt within our finances. Well, you may be asking, why does it exist in the first place? Well, there's two primary reasons. First is people respond to bad news more readily than good news. Needless to say, it causes bad news to skew good news on an average of 17 bad reports to one good report. So, there you go. Second, because of the first reason, it's been around since the beginning of time. The unfortunate thing I've witnessed over time is the increasing impact factor of the FUD being peddled. To keep FUD effective, people seem to level up the FUD on a regular basis. In other words, they try very hard to increase the shock factor. Think about it. Just about every piece of media uses the shock factor in one form or another. Talents like Mr. Beast will use rapid jarring jump cuts, crazy stunts, and outrageous scenarios to increase the shock factor in his videos. Now you gotta ask, does it work? You bet it does. Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast, is estimated to earn between $500 million and $700 million a year from his videos. So, shock factor works. I currently see many financial FUD videos coming up in my feed. Most of the time, the news is either really bad or really outrageously good. The latest at the time of recording this video is we're about to witness the worst financial stock crash in all history. Maybe they're right and maybe they're wrong, but you'll never be wrong if you click the subscribe button right now. So you'll know the next time my next video is dropped, and if you enjoy this video, give it a like. Had to sneak that in there. What I want to remind you is an event that happened in 1929. It was the great stock market crash of 1929. By the time the stock market crash ran to its end, the markets dropped a whole whopping 89% from their heights. This crash was a direct result of market fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD to the rescue. This stock market crash drove the United States into the Great Depression, which lasted for around 10 years. I know I'm glossing over a lot of details, but several lessons came out of this event. Stock markets were criticized for not taking a hold of the situation in a timely manner. Now, stock markets reserve the right now to close trading if they feel the markets are getting too hot. In other words, they can suspend trading for short or long periods of time to allow trader emotions to cool a bit. Also, it's not unusual for federal powers to store reserves of cash against negative events. A good example of this is right now the Canadian Bank of Canada is injecting financial supplementation into the banking industry because of concerns of mortgage defaults that could occur in the near future because of the drastic interest rate increases since 2020. I think it's important for you to know that the stock market acts like a lunatic on the best of days, by the way. One day he'll try to sell you stocks that are way overvalued, and the next he'll try to sell you the same stocks way undervalued. Lunatic, absolutely. Overall, though, if we look at the S&P 500 for the past 100 years, from 1924 to 2024, the year that this film is being recorded, it has increased on average between 10 and 11% yearly, even with the stock market crash of 1929. It's going to make you think. Also, as to the rise and fall of stock prices, this is actually the number one reason I invest the way I do. I consider days when the market is down, stocks or ETFs, exchange traded funds, are on sale. So I try to stock up when they are on sale. Also, I look at the dividend value more than I do the price of the commodity. I don't want to rely on value gain in my retirement to supplement my financial needs. I'd rather invest into quality dividend stocks and ETFs and collect their consistent and reoccurring dividends instead. For me, this is my number one way to overcome the financial FUD I see prophesized every day. It's easy to get your emotions running when things go in the wrong direction. I remember my wife got pretty upset when I told her that our portfolio fell more than 20%, no, not too long ago. I explained to her that this was the worst time to sell. We will then truly realize those losses. I felt that I had invested into good long-term performers and a short-term dip shouldn't hurt us in the long run. My portfolio is still down about 5%, but it's definitely up 15% from that low. But more importantly, the dividends have continued to flow. Also, you have to remember that criminals will depend on FUD to get you to act where you would normally not act. Let me give you a great example. I received an email about a year ago from Microsoft that told me someone had compromised my Microsoft accounts and I needed to change my password immediately. Well, yes, I got caught by it. I didn't realize that the email was from a criminal, and I do call them criminals on purpose, sending me to a very legitimate looking website to change my password. In the meanwhile, I had to enter my current password to change it. Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. I reacted way too quickly from fear and did exactly what the criminal wanted me to do. It did involve some work with the help of Microsoft to fix that one, but I'm extremely cautious since then. That's the second lesson that you need to learn in regards to financial FUD. Don't believe everything you read, see, or hear. Unfortunately, crime is at an all-time high, and there's a lot of criminals who would gladly empty your wallet into their bank account. Finally, don't get wrapped up in the news that is FUD in general. I've seen many arguments come out of differing opinions from religious, political, and financial FUD by individuals who have consumed it. Right now, both Canada and the United States have very high emotions in regards to their country leaders and possible future leaders. Just recently, in the United States, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The United States is a representative democracy, and this means that their government is elected by citizens. Citizens vote for the government officials, not men with guns and bullets. It's very easy, though, to get caught up in the FUD. You watch one video on something and then another and then another. Before long, it can become truth to you. You have to learn how to avoid this trap at all costs. I've witnessed many acquaintances that have literally lost their objectivity on certain topics because they've consumed so much FUD that it's become fact to them. Be sure to avoid that trap at all costs. Personally, if I find my emotions are starting to get triggered by the media that I'm consuming, I step away from it, do a little bit of soul searching. Also, I'll talk to maybe some close, trusted friends about it and seek their opinion. Before long, I find that I have a better, objective, neutral opinion, so to speak on the topic and see the truth and fiction of the news that I've consumed. Overall, what I think I'm trying to say is to avoid financial FUD as much as possible. Stay away from the can't miss opportunities and trust in long-term results of commodities you may wish to invest into. I've lost most of my money from risky investments that didn't have any kind of track record to truly gauge the performance. So what can you do? Don't do anything. No! Remember that taking no action carries its own risks. I sat on the sidelines for one reason or another for over 2 decades when I knew how to invest, what to invest into, and had the means to invest. Time is your number one superpower when it comes to financial investing. With it, you can weather financial storms that occur, and I promise you that those storms will occur. With time on your side, though, you can allow the power of compound interest to be your ally. If you want to get started, it does come down to saving your first, let's say, $5,000. And if you're interested in learning some really easy to implement ways to generate $5,000 rapidly, be sure to check out the video you're seeing on the screen right now. In it, I disclose methods that I've used to save not just $5,000 but over $100,000 in under 2 years. Be sure to check it out. Otherwise, thank you for joining me, and be sure to not get caught up in the FUD. Frank Thomas here. We'll see you in the next video.